Yes, that's true. No gender is no sound. Eternal crystal heart wave. Monadic alignment is crystal alignment with crystal Sophia, recovering the body parts to experience breathing whole pie again. Air sign. And I was reminiscing about my experiences that I had because of the importance of breathing right on time. In divine born sequences, divine born angles, the architects of first light, the first sound of crystal light, crystal water, living rainbows. When I went to work for the United States Forest Service, they gave us a test. When I first went to work for them, they had a long sheet where we were required to go to a occupational physician, and all the boxes had to be checked, like checkmate. Saying stuff like this individual is going to be required to be exposed to, all kinds of radiological, biological, neurotoxins, and just radiological hazards, like a hazardous waste stream zone, and their ability to recover, the recovery speed to restore balance, the megagalactic core, the still point of a true vacuum to experience no sound. And so I was introduced to what was called a step test, like in the 12 steps and the 12 traditions of that book by the same name that is generated by Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, I acknowledge that there are other authors with different names that charge you electrical power, even though AA will charge you for the book, the original book, the original instructions of 12 spheres, 12 traditions, native teachers, native healers, native peacekeepers, the native spiral, the original breathing temperature, the operating temperature of a vacuum gauge, the original tempo, the breathing tempo as the breathing temperature vacuum gauge to experience no pressure. And so when I went to work for the Forest Service, and the picture is in my mind of they built a box, and it was a box. And we know what a metronome is used in music, the rhythm, harmony, the balance of our heart wave. And so what they were testing, it was called a step test. So if you got through the medical part where the doctor signed off and said, yes, this being is physically fit to be exposed to all those weapons of mass distraction as endocrine disruptors, to generate cavitation in water molecules to implode and go nova. And so the test used a metronome. Tick, tock, the pendulum as polarities, alternating current to experience no current, no power. So it was called a step test. And so I'm picturing myself, and it was set for 5 minutes. Your breathing temperature gauge. So they had a mathematical table that they used that was based on your age, how old you are, and how much you weigh. Mass distractions, weapons of mass destruction, of elemental ions, right? Using your nuclear power plant to blow holes in your own energy field. Why would they do that? Well, we know the answer to that already. And so we would go we were required to do the test. They would check our pulse before the test. Then they would set the metronome, or it would go tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. The pendulum swings back and forth between one and the other. And as you are in rhythm to hearing that tick-tock going back and forth, that would be the pace, like a pacemaker. Your heart wave, our heart wave, would step up on our right foot, up onto the box, and the box was 18 inches off the surface, a flat line, a horizontal flat line as a stabilizer. The vertical and horizontal trim, the stabilizers. The ball, Mama Three Spheres Logos. So we would go up and down for 5 minutes at the pace at which the metronome was set. And that is our breathing temperature vacuum gauge. And at the end of 5 minutes, they would check our pulse and our breathing rate, and then use a mathematical table and come up with a number. And that number had to be a certain number in order to get what they called a red card. It's all coded, isn't it? The red pulse wave card. And that red card, based on the number, and they would even put that number, what your rating is, your usage rate of electrical power, and your ability to replenish yourself as Pythagorean form and flow, crystal form and flow of the eternal crystal sound field, the first sound and light field of Crystal Sophia, the crystal cathedral. So I shared a file where I was in Pythagorean form when I was on a fire one day. And I acknowledged I could just keep going, like self-generated, right? And just keep right on going, just keep right on going, just keep right on going, just keep right on going. I don't need any electrical power from another electrical being. I'm self-generating, Pythagorean form and flow, maintaining perfect balance at the megagalactic core, the true still point of a true vacuum, the inner core, the inner heart, our light shield, our inner power, the inner throne, the inner temple, the inhalation. Breathing right on time, in divine right order, divine right sequences, divine right timing, divine right balance. So they don't use that step test apparently anymore. They've gone to what they call a pack test. They'll put on a 45-pound backpack on their back now, and then they're required to walk on a flat surface, a horizontal surface, and carry that 45-pound pack. I believe it's a mile, and if they can do it, now we're back to the number 6. Right? If they can hike 45 miles down a flat surface with 45 pounds, a mile, 6 minutes. The 10 code, the 666 digital code, the beast grid. Breathing the beast grid mathematical codes. The implosion codes, the nova codes of a beast, the anticrystal spire. That's why we're here. Restore the core, the megagalactic core, the still point of the truth. Now we corrected the offset. Breathing a perfect cross. The K factors. 3. The first triangle, the Golden Triangle Club. The Golden Triangle Club. The triangle in the sphere. That's the logos of Alcoholics Anonymous. Aya mama. Muave aya. Salukale aya.